the process of change. We all know, when we look at somebody, we know that, okay, he's being fantastically well. We know that this guy is a fantastic person when it comes to something else. Then why are we stopping short of copying that? The beauty is, when you initially copy, it might look like fake. When you suddenly start speaking in English, let us say if you are coming from a rural background, if you suddenly start speaking in English, obviously you will make a couple of mistakes. People will say that, "Arey yaar, ye to style maar raha hai." But the good thing is, after you do it for 6 months, it will be your own style. It is going to become a part of you, and that is how each one of us changes. The beauty is, change is one of the most natural things that can happen to human beings. At the end of the day, you are no longer the way you were like 10 years back. At 10 years back, the kind of games you played, the kind of movies you watched, the kind of television channels that you used to see, the kind of book that you used to read, the kind of clothes that you used to wear, everything has changed. Why has it changed? Because we believe that we are growing and this change is a part of us. The same thing I am also asking you to do today. If you believe that 3 years from now, 2 years from now, if you have to walk out of this campus with a job in hand, maybe it's our responsibility to manage to change. And the beauty is, E-Plus is a platform which provides us the opportunity to change. Use this opportunities, not just E-Plus. I'm sure your management, in fact the best part about the management team is that every single E-Plus activity that has happened on this campus, I've always seen the chairman sir, I've always seen the secretary sir. I've not seen this happen in engineering college. Most recently we were at Godavari, before that we were at a whole lot of other colleges. And the beauty is when the management is ready to support, make use of that support. Today we live in a time where it's a simple case of perform or perish. Nobody is going to sympathize with you. Nobody is ever going to look at, "Arey yaar, mera beta ne itna effort kiya." At the end of the day, what matters is success. What matters is result. This is the hard reality. You might appreciate it, you might like it, you might not like it, but eventually everybody is going to ask you one thing: do you have a job in hand when you leave this campus? And for that, if it means that we have to make minor changes to our personality, if we have to make those small adjustments, maybe this is the time to do that. And if you believe that adding a little more additional layers to your personality is going to improve you as an individual, tomorrow when you go and meet your other family members, trust me, people around judges. When you go to a marriage, what is one of the reasons why we go to a marriage? The reason why your parents ask you to come for a marriage is very simple. They want to show you off. Nothing else beyond that. When they go in front of their relatives, they want to showcase the fact that their son is doing their engineering or your daughter is doing their engineering, and for them it is a pride factor. Why is it that? Because our society always evaluates us. When you are standing in front of a set of people, they are constantly evaluating you. Is this guy good? And the beauty is, if they find you good, they will go and tell another people. And that is how people become famous. Let us possibly make a small resolve. When we walk out of those doors, let us make a small resolve that whatever is that small change that you want to add to your personality, start doing it from today. Change is always harsh. Whenever we have to change, things become very difficult. I'm sure Bajaj, so many people would have lost their jobs during that period. Why? Because Bajaj was changing. They wanted fresher talent, they wanted newer ideas, and change is never an easy thing. Change from British to Indian rule costed 1 million lives. But change is what is required. To grow forward as a civilization, to grow forward as a human race, we need to change, we need to adapt, and maybe that change has to start from today. And this was when, after Bajaj has diverse Kawasaki, they started using that knowledge and came out with one of the best products that Indian automobile market has ever seen. What am I speaking about? Pulsar. And let's quickly look at the ad that they came out with the Pulsar. Watch the wordings carefully. In fact, this ad has come out after Pulsar was released, after Pulsar became a hit, and Bajaj again became the number one. Today, Bajaj is again the number one. And today, Hero Honda is again in confusion. Why? Now the marriage has finally broken. Hero Honda is no longer Hero Honda, it is just Hero. The beauty is, competition is always there. But the fact that these guys have put in so much of hard work and they managed to come out with a fantastic product. In fact, when I look at this ad, I actually feel very proud. Today we have an Indian bike which is being exported to other countries, not just being the number one bike in India. And it stands as a testimony to Indian engineering skills. Today we no longer have companies which used to be, borrowing talent from other places. Today we have companies which are going out and buying out other companies. Take the example of Tata Motors. Take the example of what's the other one? What's the latest acquisition in the Tata group? The Tata Steel. They have bought over Chorus, which is the number 3 manufacturer of steel in the entire world. So today, as a country, we are an extremely confident country. And the good thing is, this conference runs from top to bottom. Each one of us should also feel confident of the fact that, provided we put in that effort, we have an opportunity. That ad also tells me one more thing. The ad also tells me one more thing, as in, if you look at the basic tune, even starting from the Buland Bharat Ki Buland Tasveer to Badalte Hue Bharat Ki Changing India, Changing Picture, and to New India, New Picture, the tune has always remained a constant. What does it simply, symbolize to me? The changes that we are making to ourselves, yes, we need to keep changing, but the internal, the absolute core, the values that we possibly have will not change. The basic values that we possibly believe in, the honesty, the integrity, whatever values that we initially have, these do not change, and I want you to keep hold of them. I'm sure all of your parents would have probably taught us this is right, this is wrong. Yes, as we keep learning, we are learning a Java programming, we are learning a C programming, we are learning communication skills, we are learning a whole lot of things, but the integrity, honesty can never go for a toss. You can cheat somebody else, but you can never cheat yourself. In fact, when I left ITC, everybody told me that, now you don't have a boss, therefore you are much more in an easier position. Trust me, having your own company is the most difficult thing. Why? Because there is no boss, you are your own boss. Every single mistake that you do is now actually seen in a magnifying glass. The third thing this ad also tells me is, if you look at it, with which other bike is Pulsar actually competing? There are 4 bikes shown there. What are the other 3 bikes? They are also Pulsars. At the end of the day, the minute you reach to the top of the competition, you are no longer competing with anybody else, you are only competing against yourself. The beauty is, we all change, and when we keep changing, when other people get to see the change in us, and we also get to see the change. I am no longer the way I was maybe 10 years back, maybe 15 years back. I still remember 1997, when I was the school captain of SFS High School. Unfortunately, one of the responsibilities of being the school captain was to give a farewell speech. Why do I say unfortunate? I was standing in front of 2,000 students and I was supposed to give a vote of thanks speech. Vote of thanks is supposed to be one of the easiest speeches. Why easy? I thank the chief guest who have come here. I thank the management for providing me this opportunity. I thank all the students for listening to me patiently, and that's it. On that day, my legs did not allow me to stand. They were doing a Michael Jackson dance of their own. My hands did not, on that day I did not know what to do with my hands. Should I put them in my pockets? Should I cross them? Should I actually put them behind? And hands were the most unwanted things on that day for me. And my voice was just not coming out. And each one of us would have had this kind of moments. But the beauty is, when you keep doing the same thing every single day, we learn from our mistakes. At the end of the day, my belief has always been simple, and if something doesn't kill you, it can only make you stronger. When I stand there, when my legs shiver, when my voice quivers, it is not going to kill me, which means that the next time when I go there and stand, it can only make me stronger. And that's the same thing that happens to all those different things that we are afraid of. And the unfortunate part about this is we are not even actually agreeing to commit that, yes, I'm afraid of this. There are 3 ways of bringing about this change. Now that we have spoken so much about change, how do I bring about change? First of all, acknowledge what are the issues that you are possibly lacking in. That itself requires a lot of guts. Whenever I do interviews, mock interviews, students, one of the constant questions that we ask is, what is your weakness? Like Amir Khan of Dil Chahta Hai, immediately everybody says that I don't have any weaknesses. I don't have any weaknesses is not right. be that you do not even understand what is your weakness, or you're too afraid to actually acknowledge that you have a weakness. The very first step that you probably need to do today is understand what is it that you're possibly lacking in, and then acknowledge that. The second step is use whatever opportunity that you have, be it E+, be it your own college, the other opportunities. Use these opportunities, use this platform to start building that change. And within 1 year, by the time you get out of this campus, you will go out as a perfectly different person, and that is what I'm sure each one of us sitting in this room